And happy Thursday, everyone. My name is meteorologist Heather Kane. It's time for our daily hail forecast, sponsored as always by See-Through Group, Merlin Law Group, American Contractors Show, as well as Atlas. Thank you guys, as always, for sponsoring our videos. So we're in a pretty active pattern right now, and it's going to continue over the next few days. We do have a chance to see all modes of severe weather today in parts of the central and southern plains. So we'll talk about what areas we're watching for that. And then as we get into tomorrow, that area is going to be shifting just a bit to the east. So we'll talk about what areas will be in the risk tomorrow. And then jumping into our weekend, we are watching Saturday as well, as this same system slowly tracks off to the east and could bring the potential for severe weather for parts of the southeast. So we'll get into that as well. But first, we do have a few things going on. We have the Raising Hail webinar that is going to be on March 12th. This is free, and more information can be found on our Facebook events on our Hail Trace page. So let's get right into our current conditions across the United States. We do have a system that is pushing off the coast here in the northeast, but the main story today, as well as getting into the next few days, is this system here in the middle of the country. We have some heavier rain falling from parts of Kansas into Missouri, down into Arkansas right now, as well as some scattered showers in parts of central Texas. So zooming on in here, again, Dallas, you're getting a few rumbles of thunder. We've had some light rain off and on here in parts of central and southern Oklahoma. And again, we have that mess of heavier precipitation in Kansas all the way down to Arkansas. So we're going to be watching parts of Oklahoma, Texas, even as far north as Wichita for the potential of severe weather today. You can already see some clearing happening now in the Oklahoma Panhandle, as well as getting into central Oklahoma and even as far west as the Texas Panhandle. So zooming on out, taking a look at our temperatures, pretty nice here in Oklahoma City, 74. A little bit cooler down in Dallas, where it's 65. Those 60s and 70s stretch off to the east, southeast. Atlanta here at 72, 83 down in Miami. But cooler up in the northeast as we're getting behind that one storm system there. And then behind the storm system here in the Central Plains, it's cooler behind that. It's only 37 in Denver and 44 in Minneapolis. So here is our jet stream. That system that we were watching this time last week is now taking over the western part of the U.S. Can see some wiggles here in the flow. That is one short wave that we're going to be watching it today. That could bring us some severe weather to the central and southern plains. And then as we get into tomorrow, not a whole lot of movement. You can see that short wave pushes slightly off to the east. So we're going to be watching some of the same areas today, as well as parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia getting into tomorrow. And then getting into Saturday, that trough will start to near the coast, and so we'll be watching parts of the southeast for Saturday for the chances of severe weather. And then as we get into Sunday, that trough starts to push off the coast into the Atlantic. So it looks like it's going to be a pretty busy, potentially at least the next few days here, as this system takes its jolly old time clearing out of the country. So here are some future radars. We're going to start for the southern part of the risk first. So this is just within the next few minutes at 12:30 Central Standard Time. Some storms are expected to develop west of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. As we get into the rest of the afternoon and we get that heating of the day and that instability building up, expect some more widespread storms to develop. And you can see some individual cells here, so we could see some large hail with these. And then as we get into later on this evening, that activity will push through the Dallas metro area, become more of a heavy rain event. Some more storms just to the east of San Angelo. We gotta watch basically east of San Angelo to the Dallas area pretty carefully for that large hail today. And then as we get into the overnight hours, more storms will start to push through the Dallas area. We could still see some small hail with that. And then getting into the beginning of tomorrow morning, some more storms look like they're going to fire up as we begin our day tomorrow morning for our Friday. So Dallas, you can see risk today as well as getting into the beginning of tomorrow. So just keep that in mind. Start doing those hail dances if you are in those areas. Now, moving on to the northern part of the risk, we still have that heavy rain that is occurring in Kansas, Missouri, down into Arkansas, as well as in parts of southeastern Oklahoma. But then as we get into later on this afternoon, you can see a few storms trying to fire up in western Oklahoma. We get that heating of the day built up. This is at 6 p.m. this evening. Some storms look like they're going to try to develop here in parts of southeastern Kansas. So we'll be watching Wichita as well as down into parts of western and maybe as far east as central Oklahoma. I do think the largest hail will stay in the western part of the state. This is at 8 p.m. this evening. Expect those storms to start to move it through the Oklahoma City metro region, and then just more storms starting to form along and ahead of that cold front, and they're just going to take their jolly old time to move on through. So besides severe weather, it looks like we could have a decent chance to see some pretty nice rain totals as well. And then as we get into tomorrow morning, we'll start to clear out a little bit, but yeah, it's that time of the year, you guys. Get excited if you're in any of those metro areas that I mentioned. And this is our significant hail model. You can see as we get into this afternoon, nothing really popping up in terms of large hail. But as we get into this evening, this is at 7 p.m., we do have some areas of some larger hail possible, especially as we get into parts of western Texas. Abilene, I think you have a decent chance to see some large hail today. I'll get into some more details in just a second. And then as we get into even the overnight hours, those hail model values are still quite impressive. But then finally, as we get into the beginning of tomorrow morning, those values start to drop off. So this evening especially, it looks like that will be the best chance to see that larger hail fall across the region. So where exactly am I thinking? Well, here is today's hail forecast, a pretty large area in terms of quarter-size hail, but we do have some areas that could see some larger hail up to 2 inches in diameter. The first area is here again in parts of western Texas. Abilene, I'm giving you a moderate chance to see up to 2 inch in diameter hail. And hail chances, it look like they're going to exist as far east as the Dallas-Fort Worth area and as far south as Killeen, Texas. So again, start doing those hail dances, you guys. Anything can happen this time of the year. And then as we shift further north, again, up to 2 inch in diameter hail is possible in western Oklahoma. Clinton, I think you have the best chance there. So Clinton, Weatherford, up to 2 inch hail is possible there. Still a low chance to see some large hail here in Oklahoma City, but $1.50 are possible there. And that's as far east as Fort Smith, Arkansas, and as far north as El Dorado, as well as Wichita, Kansas. We could see large hail as large as golf balls up there. In terms of a wind, basically the same areas can see anywhere from 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts. Starting down in the southern part of the risk, Killeen, Abilene, Dallas, you can see those chances of wind today. And then moving further on north, Wichita Falls here in Oklahoma City, into Fort Smith and up into the Wichita area. Again, 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts are possible with any of those storms. And we can't rule out a tornado or two either with any storms that do develop. So looking at our dew points for the next few days, we do have that moisture return ongoing from the Gulf of Mexico. That moisture will help with the development of those storms for later on today. And then getting into this evening and into tomorrow, those higher values will start to shift off to the east. So this is tomorrow at noon. That chance of severe weather will start to push east as well. And then getting into later on Friday and basically getting into Saturday, that shift of moisture will continue as that system continues to push off to the east as well. And as we get into our beginning of our Sunday morning, basically the only area that will see moisture is Florida. So for the most part, as we get into our Sunday, that system will be finally off the coast as we've been dealing with it all week long so far. So here are the radars for tomorrow. We're going to wake up. This is at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. Storms once again are expected to fire up just to the west of Dallas. So we could see again a chance for hail today in the Dallas metro area, as well as getting into tomorrow. And then some storms that will be up into Louisiana and Arkansas as well. And then some more scattered storms across parts of Oklahoma and Arkansas. Then as we get into tomorrow afternoon, that activity will start to spread into parts of Mississippi and Alabama, and then some more storms look like they're going to try and form here in western Oklahoma, although I think they may be at this time below severe limits, that the moisture and instability will be here in the Mississippi Valley. And then as we get into our Friday, more storms for here in Oklahoma City. Again, right now it doesn't look like they're going to be reaching severe limits, but that could change. So stay tuned as we tweak the forecast for tomorrow. But those storms will continue to become more widespread as we get into tomorrow afternoon. You can see some individual cells trying to pop up here tomorrow in parts of northern Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. Some heavier rain otherwise, and it just continues to fall in the same areas tomorrow afternoon and evening. So not only will we see that severe weather chance, but I think some heavier rain and flooding is possible as well. Atlanta, you can see that chance for severe weather moving through your region as we get into tomorrow late in the evening and into the overnight hours. And then as we wake up on our Saturday morning at 7 a.m. Central, so 8 a.m. Eastern, we can still possibly see some storms here in the Atlanta area eastward to South Carolina. So let's break down the forecast for tomorrow. This is what I'm thinking right now in terms of hail sizes. A pretty large area, again, of $1.25 to $1 size hail is possible from down to Houston, northward to Fort Smith, Little Rock, eastward to Memphis, down into the Jackson, Mississippi area, all the way into parts of Alabama. Dallas, again, you could see some large hail as we begin our day tomorrow. And as we get into the early afternoon hours, we should start to clear out as that system starts to push off to the east. And then as we get with our wind, basically some of the same areas as well as further east, as we could see more of a wind risk than hail here in Alabama and in Georgia, but low chances for wind here for Dallas, Houston, Fort Smith, larger chances for those wind gusts up to 60 to 70 miles per hour in the Shreveport area down to New Orleans, and again, low chances as we go further east into Birmingham and Atlanta. And of course, with any storms that do develop, we can't rule out a tornado or two as well. So it's going to be an active day possibly today, as well as getting into tomorrow. But I did mention Saturday as well. Here is the area that we'll be watching for our Saturday. We're going to be watching areas such as parts of Florida, Georgia, eastern Alabama, all the way up into the Carolinas. And again, all those will be possible as we watch for the storms on our Saturday. So it's going to be a busy few days. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it, Instagram, YouTube, as well as our TikTok page. Make sure you click See First on our Facebook so you don't miss any of our live videos or our forecasts. If you would like a demo of any of our products, we do have a code that you can scan above to get any demos. And if you have any questions or concerns, you can call us at 334-4245. You can email us at info@hilltrace.com and check out our website at www.hilltrace.com as well. And I am meteorologist Heather Kay. I hope you all have a great rest of your Thursday and do those hail dances if you're down in the Dallas area or anywhere else that are in the risk areas today.